I was the chairman of a company that rocketed from 0 to 50 million in 8 years, simply by mastering speed. If you want to know how to scale your business unbelievably fast, today I will show you the exact framework this company used to go from 0 to 50 and how you can apply these principles in your business today. Let's start with the numbers. Market size 250 to 300 million depending on how you slice it. This company was able to capture a 16 to 20% market share in 8 years, which translated into 50 million in revenue. Okay, interesting. These types of numbers must be a super complex operation. No, quite the opposite. And even the industry was far from sexy, far from innovative. Actually, an established market, known players, known set of rules, nothing really happening. What are we talking about? Commercial buy and sell operation for trucks. Short distance, long haul delivery trucks and trucks used in mainly construction business. Okay, here comes this young, aggressive, ambitious entrepreneur and wants to do things differently. He understood something really quickly, which takes me to my step number 1. Know your business. What does that mean in practice? Know your business. Of course, you're in the business of buying and selling, right? Yes and no. What I mean by this is that you have to go behind the scenes. Go underneath the surface where nobody's willing to go to understand what those industry best players are doing. Every business has that. Look at Costco, look at Walmart, look at Apple, look at any of the branded players, the big, well-performing players out there. And they know something that nobody else does. They have understood what that business really needs in order for you to be successful. Here, you're not just in the business of buying and sell something. You're in the business of actually optimizing your inventory. And speed is the recipe for that. Let me explain. If this is your average lot, where you have your used cars or used trucks, every square here represents one product that you can sell. Obviously, there's a direct correlation between the number of units you have available, in this case those trucks, and how well you can sell. So this young entrepreneur understood that. He was like, okay, at the same time, I need to optimize the number of vehicles in my inventory to be able to make sure that these people who come and want to buy something, they can test drive the vehicle and they can see it, they can talk about it, they can kick tires and all of that good stuff, right? So at the same time, it really is good for me to have as many of these available as possible, right? But then at the same time, it was like, okay, wait a minute, how do I finance that? These are super expensive, maybe 80 to 100 grand a pop. Okay, either I can use outside money or I can use my own money. When you're starting, you don't really have deep pockets, you're forced to use outside lenders. Okay, so there's the interest rate. So at the same time, it's in his interest to have as many of these in his inventory as possible, but at the same time, because everybody's limited in terms of money, so we want to make sure that we don't have that much tied up, that much capital tied up in this. Plus, the more trucks you have, there are also those so-called bad apples and the ones that don't sell, and their value is decreasing every day when they can't sell. So you really incentivize to optimize the mix of your inventory and make sure that not too much capital is tied up into that. Okay. So then he understood that, okay, I'm in the business actually of optimizing my inventory, making sure that my whole operation is centered around that. And then 2 metrics that are good to understand. There's sales velocity, which is really a fancy word for your sales speed. Okay, how many trucks, how long does it take to sell one truck on average? Let's say that's 30 days, just to keep it simple. And the other important metric was inventory turnover. Inventory turnover. I'll explain. So let's say you sell on average 1,000 trucks a year, and your average inventory size is 100, then you turn over your whole inventory 10 times every year. And the more you can do, the better off you are. So you can crank out more. Your engine, your clock speed is higher because of that. So this is what that means when you know your business. You're not just in the business of buying and selling, but you're in the business of understanding what truly matters for that company, for that business. One last word in step number 1 about idea versus execution. Every company that starts, there are 2 types of risks. This is an example, a great one, of a company that was able to do super well, make a lot of money by focusing on very simple idea and relying on innovative execution. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. be the next Apple or Facebook. That would be an idea risk, because every company has to deal with the execution side as well. If you're a starting entrepreneur, you're probably better off focusing on the execution and use something that's already been tested in the marketplace. In an industry where time is money, how was this one company able to become the fastest? The short answer, by understanding what value truly means and overemphasizing on that. Step number 2 in our process is called value. I would say by far the most important step, and something every entrepreneur needs to understand in detail, because otherwise there's no point for us to exist if we can't provide value to our paying customer. Meaning our value needs to always exceed our price. That's the goodwill. If our value is below the price charged, we are dead in the water, and it's only a matter of time when we go out of business. Value. First you define it, what value to your business means, and then you deliver. This is where I borrow Alex Hormozzi's famous value formula, where he was able to take a very complex topic and simplify it so that even dumb entrepreneurs like me and you, we understand it. Let me break it down. 4 elements. Number 1, risk. Number 2, dream outcome, whatever the customer wants. 3, time. And 4, effort. The idea here is that you reduce the risk, meaning you increase the likelihood in the eyes of the customer that their dream outcome can be achieved. Make it faster, make it easier and more convenient for the paying customer. That's what it really boils down to. And this company was able to ask one question from itself. How can I massively outperform, overemphasize one part of the equation and get so good at it that nobody can catch up? And that was time. Like we explained in step number 1, it's all about inventory management, that clock speed, able to sell those trucks faster than anybody else, buy them, list them, repair them, take pictures, communicate with the clients. That's what they truly understood, and that's what they over-delivered on. If you're an entrepreneur, this is something you need to memorize. Ask yourself always, how can I reduce time, effort, and risk and increase the likelihood that my customers get what they want? That's when you're onto something, like this company's example is now showing. So what did speed actually look like in practice for this company? Let's look at our step number 3, which is called pick one and be obsessed. Wait a minute, is being obsessed okay? Can I be relentless in pursuing my dreams? Absolutely, you have to. You have to execute like your life depends on it, because it actually does in business. If you want to be the best at something in your craft, there's no other way but to do it 24/7. That's what the founder understood. You kind of have to be like a dog chasing that bone. Here's what it looked like in his business as far as being the best at speed. Number 1, fast, lightning fast decision making. Everything that the company did, whether it was buying, selling, relisting, doing repairs, or communicating with the customers, was top notch. There was no delay. There was no tomorrow or next week. It was right now or nothing. And usually 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, it was right now. But if you want to get those exceptional results, that's what it takes. They chose an industry where the idea was already tested in the marketplace, but they wanted to innovate on the execution side. I'll give you an example. When they bought a truck in another country, when they had the old pictures that the seller had, they used those and already relisted it. And oftentimes, this company had a buyer for the truck already when it was in transit. When it hit the home base, if there was no buyer, they listed it, they washed it, fixed it up, and listed it right away. Everything was about clock speed. Communication. There was no old-fashioned email or sending letters or anything like that. It was just WhatsApp, right away, instantaneous, pictures. Everything was done remotely as well. There were plenty of transactions were done with the phone, using pictures, communicating back and forth. Drivers were taking the trucks to another city just to make sure that speed was always in mind, and convenience for the paying customer as well. Number 2, flat organizational structure. Extremely lean organization. Decision makers were on the same page with the founder. Everybody moved in the same direction. And number 3, exceptional market understanding. These guys knew exactly what to buy and what to sell. They didn't really have any bad apples in their inventory. Like in step number 1, we explained the importance of inventory management and understanding that you have the right mix and the right number of trucks in your inventory just to make sure that the availability is there. They didn't really have any bad apples because they had good connections on the buy and on the sell side. They understood what people wanted. They were able to make fast decisions and make quick buy decisions too, because they had their finger on the market pulse all the time. Last but not least, being obsessed. As I said in the beginning, is perfectly fine. It's actually required because your entrepreneurial life really depends on it. Okay, let's summarize in the end. This was a story of a business that did not chase any shiny objects, but focused on being the best at its selected one area, and that was speed. So key takeaways based on this presentation today. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can focus on that super simple idea and be the best in your business at executing it. Understand where value comes from. Be obsessed. Pick that one area where you're so much better than anybody else and then execute like there's no tomorrow. That's really it. Many people actually try to complicate the business idea in the beginning, thinking that it's the billion-dollar tech industry idea that's my only chance of making serious money. But I believe you can grow almost any company in any industry up to 100 or 200 million. This is a perfect example of that. And remember, the market size was small in a small country. Had it been a billion-dollar industry, this would be even bigger. So the key takeaway here, go chase your dreams, pick that one area where you want to be better than anybody else and go chase it. Do it now. If you liked today's video, I would appreciate it if you could hit the like and the subscribe buttons. That would mean a lot to me. If you're still not convinced, I suggest you go visit my website or my YouTube channel and check out the other videos. Hope you like my content. I try to talk about what works and what doesn't, either in my life or in my client's life. Thanks for being here. And again, I'll talk to you in the next video. Thank you. Have a great weekend and bye.